It's Monday, May 15th, 2023, and this is episode 283 of You Can Bet on That. Hi, everybody. Welcome to You Can Bet on That, a podcast for the recreational gambler. I'm Mark Duvall.
And I'm Dr. Mike.
Well, Mike, congratulations. Your precious Minnesota Twins took a 3-game series from my Padres. You must be so proud. Congratulations.
Yeah, and I was there for the rubber game, sitting there watching them lose. Jeez.
No, I told you this. You're a Twins fan now. So you must have been you just laughing your whole way home. Just
6 of us went to the game, Mark.
Yeah.
6 of us went to the game. 3 were wearing Padre jerseys and Padre hats. 3 were wearing Twin jerseys and Twin hats. So half the car was happy driving home. 1/3 of the other half was a little moody.
Yeah. Why is that?
He wasn't happy about, we go to the Twins game.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, it's a super nice stadium.
Oh, good. Yeah.
It's very, very nice. And this game was compliments from Chris and Kevin, who are listeners.
Yeah.
And Chris works there. Chris got us great seats.
Oh, good.
Yeah, it was really, really nice. I couldn't thank him enough. But I said to Chris, he came by and visited with us for a while. And I said, it's super nice. It reminds me a lot of San Diego. And he said, same company built it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And you could tell they kind of used the same layout.
Yeah.
And it was so nice and inside clean and beautiful. And we sat in a club area that's called the Delta Sky Club 360.
Uh-huh.
You know, they're carving meats and stuff.
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah.
I got a carved sandwich and the food was a lot.
Mm-hmm.
A lot. It was very good. And you could get waited on in your seat.
Right.
Or you could go back in the covered area.
Right.
So that was really nice. I couldn't say enough about the stadium.
Good.
That was very, very good. Unfortunately, the Padres lost.
Right.
So then afterwards, we're driving home. Traffic is really bad in the cities there. So I'm glad that we live where we live. But yeah, it was like San Diego traffic. It took us like 2 hours to get out of the city.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's like another 2+ hours drive home. But then when I got into the parking lot, somebody had kind of run into the side of my car.
Oh, so is that the 1/3?
That was the
unhappy.
1/3. Yeah,
Okay.
1/3 unhappy person.
I gotcha.
And you know how bad my car is anyways.
Yeah, I was telling Sherry about it. It's like, big deal, right? It's their Suburban, so I wouldn't worry too much about it.
Yeah, that's what I said. Big deal. Big deal. But no, we had a great time.
Good.
And I would have liked to have seen the Padres win just so I could stick it in some faces around school there.
Of course. Well, before the series started, listener Zach contacted us and we set up a charity bet as to who would win the series. He took the Twins and we took the Padres. And I thought the Padres were going to take it. They won that first game. They were ahead, in the game that you went to. But the Twins came out and ended up taking the series. So we donated to Zach's charity. The charity that he chose was Pause for Pause, MN. So the first pause is spelled Pause, then the number 4, and then PAWS.
Right.
MN. Yeah.
Good.
And from their website, it says, since 2011, we have led the effort to provide emergency funds that improve the lives of cats and dogs in need throughout Minnesota. So another good cause gets a little money thanks to these charity bets that we all make here in the community.
Good. Yeah. And that's nice because that's certainly a good cause, especially you and I both love pets.
Oh, yeah. Gosh. We're currently fostering a dog that has been adopted. The new owners are going to come pick him up tomorrow. So,
nice.
we love animals.
And where we live, we have our dogs and can't have cats because Lynn's allergic, but we have dogs. And at times we've had up to 4. But there are so many animals around here, Mark. My God.
I believe it.
One of these days, I'm going to tell you a list of what I see every day. I mean, turkeys, pheasants.
Yeah.
Some days I'm like, oh, my God, I've seen like 20 different species of animals. What we do have, though, here in Caledonia, Minnesota, we have 6 squirrels in the whole city, and they move around.
Really?
You see them everywhere.
The same one.
But there's only 6. But everywhere I look, I see them. They're running around all the time. Sometimes we have 4 or 5 in our backyard.
Oh, and just
They get
6. Huh?
together.
Did you tag them?
Just 6.
So that's how you
Just
know
6.
they're tagged?
Grace said to me, "There's only 6? Well, what's that one's name?" And I said, "Grace, it's number 4. They don't have names. Don't be stupid."
Yeah, that was a bad question for her to have asked.
Yeah. Bad question. They don't have names. It's just a squirrel. They're numbered. That was number 4 you saw.
So, Mike, have you heard about this Alabama baseball scandal?
No, I have not.
Oh, okay. I'm a little surprised. It's kind of making the news on ESPN, that kind of thing. Anyway, on April 28th at the Sportsbook at the Great American Ballpark in Cincinnati, Ohio, a large amount of money was wagered on the Alabama LSU baseball game for that day. Specifically, the bet was on LSU to win. LSU was already a favorite, but this big bet came down on them.
Right.
A company called U.S. Integrity out of Las Vegas, which independently monitors gambling data, raised a red flag, and wagers on the game were suspended, first in Ohio and then in other jurisdictions. It turns out the person who made the wager was on the phone with Alabama head coach Brad Bohannon while he was making the bet. Now, based on surveillance footage, I'm not sure how they determined this, but they were able to determine he was talking to the head coach. And then, an hour before the game started, Bohannon changed the starting pitcher for Alabama. So, big scandal. Bohannon was fired, obviously. You know, Mike, when sports betting became legal in states other than Nevada, when this whole sports betting started sweeping the country, I don't know if we mentioned this on the show. We might have, but certainly you and I talked about how there's going to be a scandal, right? You know, sure. I mean, it's guaranteed that there's going to be a scandal. And there have been some NFL players were suspended recently for gambling. That's a completely different thing. This is a large bet that's being put on a game that a person or persons has control over, the results of which they have control over. And that's the kind of thing that is illegal and we want to try to avoid. And maybe opponents of legalized sports gambling might bring this up as, well, look, here you go. I would say, and of course, we're a pro gambling podcast, but I would say because this was legalized, because a legal, quote unquote, bet was being made at a legal sports book, they were able to catch this.
Right.
Now, maybe there's some that haven't gotten caught, but, you know, if this had been done on the black market, as most sports betting was done in the olden days, it wouldn't have been caught. And I could understand people arguing, well, maybe it wouldn't have happened at all if it wasn't easy to bet. Okay. We could go back and forth. But we said, okay, when a scandal comes up, it's probably not going to be pro players. It's either going to be, say, pro officials or college level. And we thought maybe students, in fact, some Iowa and Iowa State students are under fire too for some gambling. I'm not sure about the specifics of that, but that story came out after this one.
And in college sports, of course, you know, you've got some students that aren't wealthy, may need some money. It'd be easy to have your buddy go down to the casino, make a bet, or on their phone, just make a bet. And if you're the starting pitcher or something.
But, you know, this is a coach. That's what just makes it so sad.
Yeah.
Is, you know, I'm sure these student athletes had no idea. I mean, I don't know for sure, of course, and they didn't say the sum of money that was bet, but it must have been significant. And they probably thought they were being smart by making the bet in Ohio as opposed to somewhere else. I don't know. But,
and for a coach to do that, I mean, that is pretty bad.
Yep.
Especially baseball, right? It's easy to just go ahead and pull your starting pitcher or have the guy bunt when maybe he shouldn't be bunting, or bring in a reliever who's, you know, has been having a rough time, and you can justify it by saying, well, I thought maybe, you know, I'd shake things up or something. And
LSU did end up winning the game. Alabama was rallying at the end to come back, but LSU did prevail. Again, they were the favorites to begin with anyway. Yeah, this is a shame. This won't be the last scandal, but it makes me happy to know that there was something in place that caught this.
Right. Well, I'm surprised I didn't hear about it.
I'm very surprised you haven't heard about this, Mike, because his firing made the news. I mean, yeah, it's been going on for a few weeks now.
Yeah, I've just been so busy lately. Yeah. It must have just gotten by me.
Yeah. Again, opponents might say, well, this is why we shouldn't have it. Well, there are a lot of things that you could argue we shouldn't have because there are some downsides to them, right?
Yeah.
But that's not necessarily a good argument. It's kind of...
Well, I've stated this before, I don't smoke, but having a bigger tax on cigarettes, I don't know if that's fair. I just don't like other people monitoring what you can and can't.
Well, okay. I guess I see where you're coming from. I don't know if smoking is a great example because, you can argue that smoking, really is bad for you, but people get pleasure out of it.
You can also argue that, sports gambling will get people in trouble.
Yeah, that's true, but you enjoy it. Okay.
Cause problems where they go bankrupt and the state has to help them out or whatever. Sure. So, any of those things you can argue for or against, but me personally, I'm just like, monitor it so there's not cheating. I'm no problem with that.
Yeah.
But, taking it away completely,
Well, and this is one of the things that was promised, at least by some jurisdictions, when these measures went through to legalize sports betting is, there will be some.
And you're always going to have bad people.
Yeah, everybody's going to try to, that's just human nature, unfortunately.
Right.
So,
and the guy got caught and he won't have a job now, right?
Yeah, that's the end of his career.
And he won't be hired by anywhere else.
No.
So we'll be seeing him in the drive-thru.
Yeah. Well, on our last episode, listener Nick said he was surprised to see a $5 minimum on prop bets at a $15 minimum craps table at Parks Casino in Pennsylvania. So in other words, all that center action, you couldn't just make a Yo 11 bet for $1. It had to be $5. He was trying to make any craps for $1, and they wouldn't allow us a $5 minimum. Well, we got an email from listener Jay with some clarification, and this kind of goes to what you were talking about in our discussion about it last episode. A couple of months ago, they put in the policy of $5 minimums in the center bets at Parks, but you can still bet a $5 horn high ace deuce or a $5 C&E split at the $15 table. So it's not the same as just $2 on 11, $3 on craps, like you were suggesting, Dr. Mike. But close, you can do the split. I like the rule because all those white chips slow the game down and confuse the stick man. So, that's kind of good. We were thinking that was a little unreasonable for a $15 table, but at least those combination bets, as long as they all together total $5, you can make those prop bets.
Right. Yeah, I agree. It slows the game down when you got a lot of bets out there for $1.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Good. Anyway, thanks for the clarification, Jay. We got a karma donation from listener Chris, and he's got a question here, so that's why I'm bringing it up now. It's Chris from Austin. Karma donation for my first ever solo trip to Vegas in June. Do you have any tips for maximizing a solo trip? I'm excited for the freedom to spend as much time at the tables as I want. Thanks for the hours of entertainment. Mike, I don't know that I have any suggestions because when it's a solo trip for me, and there haven't been many, it's just gamble, 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 eat by myself, maybe even fast food, and go to sleep.
Right.
So do you have any suggestions for a solo trip?
Gosh, not really.
Yeah. I think you and I are kind of the same that way. It's like, okay, we're here to gamble. That's what we're going to do.
That's what we're going to do while we're here.
Yeah, I'm certainly not going to go see a show by myself. Or I'm not really one for going to a fancy dinner by myself. I just as soon eat at a counter or something. So, yeah, I don't know.
I guess it depends on the person. But, if you wanted to go bowling or something, they had a bowling alley, maybe you could do that. And most things aren't that enjoyable when you're alone, except gambling, because you can talk to other people, right?
Yeah, right. Virtually any table that you're, as long as you're not playing like slots or video poker or something, you can socialize at the table. So
you go to a show and, you start talking to the guy next to you. He might want to talk and he might not. He might just say, what's going on here? So,
well, he says, again, I'm excited for the freedom to spend as much time at the tables as I want. That's the recommendation. Do that.
Yeah, do that. Yeah,
you don't have to worry about, I've got to meet up with somebody or, I'm late for this reservation. Just stay there as long as you want.
Yeah, there you go. That's what I'd be doing, right?
Yeah. Anyway, thank you for the question and for the donation, Chris. Hey, thanks to everyone who's been clicking through our Amazon link. Remember, whenever you're going to buy something through Amazon, please go to our page first. You can bet on that.com and click through our Amazon link towards the top of the page. All right, let's move on to some voicemails. First up is Sam.
Hey, Mark and Dr. Mike. This is Sam calling from California. Just wanted to give a Vegas trip report. I stayed this past weekend over at the Red Rock in Summerlin. I gotta say, Red Rock has become my new favorite hotel to go to and stay and play at in Vegas. Can't see myself really staying or playing at the Strip. As far as gambling goes, had a really good trip. Craps went well. Minimums are nice. They got $10 tables during the day, and at night gets bumped up to 15, but, not too bad. Highlight of the trip, I was playing Ultimate Texas Hold'em, and I got dealt an ace-king suited with hearts. So I went to show the table, it's potential. Look what we got here. And what do you know it? The flop comes 10 Jack Queen of Hearts. So I flopped the Royal to hit the progressive. Can't describe that feeling. Never been overcome with that much emotion in my life. It was super exciting. And as far as craps goes, had a good sessions over the weekend as well. It's the last day before I left. We hit the all, so cashed out, had a good weekend in Vegas. Red Rock's a great place to play. Love the show. Keep doing what you do. Thank you.
Yeah, wow. Congratulations, Sam.
Yes.
He didn't give a figure. Who knows what it was, but you hit that jackpot. That's at least 5 figures and maybe more. It's a progressive, right? So, it could get up over $100,000. Yeah, I'm glad he also brought this up because we were talking on a recent episode about how nice it is when you're at a game like Ultimate Texas Hold'em and a jackpot winning hand comes on the board. In other words, the 5 community cards. But there are a lot of jackpots that only pay on the first 5 cards. In other words, your 2 whole cards and the 3 cards on the flop. The hand has to be made from those 5 cards to win any kind of part of the jackpot. So that's what happened in this case. And that's why the progressive would be so big.
Right. I was laughing to myself when he's saying about how, he didn't really know how to react. He was elated with emotion or something. Let me tell you this, Sam. If you hit a progressive jackpot and you just sit there, another progressive jackpot, you've been spending too much time in a casino. And that's coming from me, Mark.
That's right. What did I win? 54,000? Oh, that's good. Yeah, I'll wait for the paperwork. Yeah.
I think Sam and Dr. Taylor need to get together,
Oh, yeah. Dr. Taylor and his blasé attitude towards another royal.
Another royal.
Gotta wait for the hand pay and the W2G. Yeesh.
That's like me. Another hit 'em all. Gee, this is getting kind of boring.
All right. Next call.
Hey, Mark and Dr. Mike. Hi, this is Jamie from Nashville. I'm working in Dallas for a few months here, and I took a little trip up to Oklahoma to WinStar Casino. And real quick, I just want to mention, I saw this thing on a crap table I'd never seen before. You've probably mentioned it before on other podcasts, but I don't remember you saying it. But the guy playing beside me talked to our dealer and said, turn off everything except for the 6. And I'd never heard that before at a craps table. And I've been playing craps for a little while. I've never heard that where you could turn off all your numbers except for 1. He played that way throughout this guy's roll. So I guess it's accepted there. They have a few weird things that you've talked about before. If you're playing cards, it's a 50-cent ante, and the craps table, it's $1 on every come out. Anyway, that's all I wanted to ask you about, if you'd ever heard about that before. Hey, thanks. Enjoy the show. You guys take care. Enjoy Biloxi.
Oh, yeah. Thank you, Jamie. Typically, people call their bets on and off all their bets. He's talking about place bets here, I assume. Usually,
Right.
I'm off this roll or, and in that case, what the dealer will do is he will take one off lammer, the little buttons, and put it on top of one of the place bets. And that just indicates that all the place bets are off. You can, however, have certain bets working and certain bets not working. So in this case, when the player only wanted the 6 working, then the dealer would have to put off lammers on everything that's off and an on lammer on the 6, or maybe nothing on the 6. But the point is that there'd have to be some indication on every single bet in that case.
Right. And most casinos will not let you do that.
What?
Yeah. Most that I've been in, they will only let you turn all your bets off or on, and they don't like you to keep one on and the rest off.
Okay, I can understand the dealers, a box, whatever, kind of getting frustrated with having to move a lot of lammers around. But Mike, you and I have played craps together for so long. I've never heard of this.
At Diamond Joe down here, Mark.
Yeah.
And all the casinos I've been to lately.
Okay.
And Harrah's, Southern California, too.
Really?
Yes. Somebody will say, oh, turn all my bets off, but the 8 or the 6 or whatever. And they say, no, they're either all on or they're all off.
Okay. I'm not saying
I know in Harrah's.
I'm not saying you're wrong, but then what's to prevent you from saying, all right, take down everything but my 6?
Right. Yep. And you can do that.
So they want you to do it that way. Okay. Rather than having a bunch of lammers out there.
Right. Well, I think the reason is to keep people from saying, no, I said turn them all off except the 8.
Oh, yeah, going back. Okay.
Yeah, and changing stuff around.
Yeah.
Because, you could an 8 came. No, I wanted the 8 on. That's the one I wanted on. You put it on the wrong one.
Trying to angle shoot. Okay.
Shoot.
Yeah. All right.
I've heard that a lot. And if you want to be that person who takes them down, then puts them back up, and takes them down and puts them back up, I guess you could be that person. They're not going to be real happy with you. But many times here at Diamond Joe Worth, I've heard people say, turn them all off except, the 4. Yeah. And they're either all on or they're all off.
Okay. Well, good. I'm glad you mentioned this then. I don't see people doing it very often. Right. So it is an uncommon thing.
It doesn't happen a lot, but I've happened to seen it a lot lately at Diamond Joe Worth.
Okay.
And I remember at Harrah's that would happen occasionally, and they would say, no.
Good. I'm glad you mentioned this then. I learned something from you today, Dr. Mike.
Yeah, that's amazing too.
Yeah, that's amazing too.
Not many days I can teach anyone anything.
All right. Next up is Michael.
Mark and Dr. Mike, it is Michael from Maryland. Love the show. I am a longtime listener, probably third time caller. Question for you with regards to craps strategy. So my wife and I are headed to Italy on a cruise with Norwegian next month in June. We love playing on Norwegian because they have $10 tables, which is awesome. We're not high rollers. What we do is we typically play the pass line, we'll play the 6 and 8, and then we'll also do a cum bet. And if the cum hits, then we'll place single odds, maybe double odds if I'm feeling particularly frisky. So last year we're in the Park MGM, cum hits, I put single odds on the cum bet, and the dealer or the boxman, whoever it was, said, that's not a smart bet. He said, what do you mean? He said, yeah, you should place the max odds. You should place the, whatever it was, 5x. I said, we don't have the bankroll for that. So he says, it's just not a smart bet. So I was very puzzled. I didn't understand why that would not be a smart bet. If placing true odds on any bet should be a good bet. Doesn't matter if it's 1x or 10x. So I'm curious to get your take on that. I happen to like the strategy. So I'm curious if that's maybe not advantageous, or maybe he has a point. So if we're not placing the max odds, is that not the right thing to do? Anyway, eager to get your take. Thank you so much for everything you do. You guys are awesome, entertaining, and so much fun to listen to. Hope to see you soon.
All right. Thanks, Michael. Yeah, I'm going to get on a soapbox for this one. So
yeah, no, I don't blame you. Yeah. I'd be on it too. I know what I would have told that dealer.
So what he's saying, when you tried to take single odds, Michael, he said that's not a smart bet. So what he was really saying was that if you take 5 times odds, which is the max that they allow at Park MGM, that would be a smart bet. That's absolutely ridiculous for him to have told you that. Makes no sense whatsoever. Let's talk about odds, and let's talk about the pass line and cum, which was the bet that Michael has made, but the math is the same for a pass line. So the house edge on the pass line is around 1.41%. I'm going to try to take it easy on the math here, but stay with me. 1.41% house edge. Well, what does that mean? That means that if you make $10 pass line bets. In the long run, you will lose about 14 cents for every $10 pass line bet that you make. You know, if you do it for 20 years, your whole life, you will have lost about 14 cents every time you made that bet. Okay, so on the pass line and on Come, you're allowed to take free odds. Free odds pay at the true odds, the true mathematical odds, that you will roll the point before a 7. And the nice thing about odds is there is no house edge. None at all. It is a fair bet. And that's why odds is so popular at a craps table. And a lot of people will say another nice thing about taking odds is that it reduces the house edge. Well, yes, it does reduce the house edge, but keep in mind that you're now risking more money. So, for example, let's say you've got that $10 bet out there, the pass line bet. It has a 1.41% house edge. If you take $50 odds, you have reduced the house edge to around 0.33%, but you're now risking $60. And guess what? The expected value now for that $60 in the long run, minus 14 cents. It doesn't affect the expected value, the expected money value for the bet. So, as I stated controversially in an earlier episode, it doesn't matter whether or not you take odds. Now, that's not completely true because of what Michael was talking about. Your bankroll might not be able to handle taking a lot of money on odds. You know, if they've got 100 times odds, were you going to take max odds? Your bankroll probably cannot handle the variance that risking more money introduces to it. And again, even though I'm saying it doesn't matter, of course take odds. We always take odds. Mike, you take max odds. I always take odds. Take odds. There's no house edge. But for a dealer to say that's not a smart bet, but that taking more odds is a smart bet, it's ridiculous. Okay, stepping off my soapbox.
Well, what I have to say about this, I would have told the dealer immediately. The best thing probably would have been not to say anything. But if I was feeling a little boisterous, I guess, I would say, you play your game, I'm going to play mine.
Yeah.
Because it really does come down to your bankroll. And you've heard me say this before too, Mark. It's like, they have 100 times odds there. And I'm like, no. Let's not go there because I always want to take full odds.
Yeah.
And that gets you in a lot of trouble.
It can.
I mean, if they're bad rolls, you can lose a lot of money fast.
Yeah.
I just hate to go there and be on a $10 table and have to put $1,000 on.
Right. It's too much pressure for you. You can't control yourself. You have to do it.
No, I can't resist it. I'm going to take full odds because I'm thinking, if the rolls are great, I'm going to do good.
Yeah.
But and the rolls aren't good, you really get wiped out quick.
Yeah.
So always play within your limits.
Right.
No matter what anyone tells you. Now, is taking odds good? Yeah, it is. It's going to win.
It's a great part of the game, and it makes fun, and you get paid at odds, right? It's always, You'll get paid more than you've risked. That is a good point, though. Every time you make an odds bet, the chances are we'll lose because there are more ways to roll a 7, right? But you get paid at odds. It's a great bet at the table, and I don't want to make it sound like it's not. But,
and when I'm teaching people, I'm always very, very quick to say, look, this doesn't mean you're going to win this bet or something.
Right.
This just means when you do win, you'll get paid the true odds, what you deserve.
Yeah.
The house is not taking any cut out of that.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean you're going to win because, 7 may come up a lot and, you may end up losing a lot of money because I don't want to tell people that. And then they say, this guy told me to take odds and, look how much money I lost.
Right. Yep. All right. Well, thanks for the call, Michael. Yeah, when I got this, I just, I was steaming. I thought I can hardly wait till we record so I can drop a bunch of numbers and.
Mark, relax. Just relax. We've got it all taken care of.
Yeah.
Michael is vindicated in his
response
to that dealer.
Thank you, Dr. Mike.
Let's move on to the next call.
Hey, Mark and Dr. Mike. This is Anthony from Long Island with a local casino report that I don't believe anyone's reported on. While visiting the Great Wolf Lodge Indoor Water Park in the Pocono Mountains, Pennsylvania, last week, after the wife and son were done for the night, I headed over to the Mount Airy Lodge Casino, only a few miles away. It was a Sunday night around 8:30. I knew what games the casino offered, so I only wanted to play craps and finally try my luck at live Pai Gow. While arriving at the casino, I noticed they had 2 craps tables. Only one of them was open with $5 minimums. With such low stakes and a $500 buy-in, I thought I'd be disciplined enough to stick to my game plan. Play disciplined with small bets and just have fun. It's been a while. I started off with a $10 pass line, full odds, which were 3, 4, and 5. 2 come bets. The green chips started building up in my racks. Then it's the 2-way, all the hard ways for 5. It felt cool just making the bet. Dealers were very appreciative. No fire, no repeaters. After a while, unfortunately, the table cooled off, so easy come, easy go. I took a break, walked around, explored the casino, played a few random slots. I noticed the Pai Gow table wasn't open. Headed back to the table, noticed the other players' racks were pretty much empty. I should have kept walking, but no. I thought I could change their luck. I played for a while, and before I knew it, I was low. I tipped the dealers, kept the casino chip as a souvenir, and cashed out a big $85. Though I didn't win, the thrill of playing craps was back. My question is for you guys, as often do you play? Do you guys still get that nervous pre-gamble pee feeling, or are you just used to it at that point? For me, it's been a while since I played, so I definitely had to use the restroom. I love the show. I'm almost caught up with all the episodes, and I would really love to rock a You Can Bet on That tank top or hat for the summer. So, Dr. Mike, please work on getting the merch. On a side note, Mark, thanks for always answering my emails directly, and I really appreciate the show. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Anthony.
All right,
Mike,
thanks.
do you still get the pre-gamble pee feeling?
Mark, of course. Of course. I mean, we just talked about the older you get a little more moisture. And I do. I always get that pre-gamble, like, I better go to the bathroom here now, just so, I don't get a problem.
Well, it seems like, when we would go up to Harrah's, it was usually a pretty long drive. So it wasn't just pre-gamble pee feeling. It was post-drive pee feeling.
Right. I got to pee. Well, isn't our motto always pee first?
Oh, yeah, that is true. That goes back to our really early days when we were in our 20s, going out to some of these tribal casinos. Yeah, we would go to the bathroom and we would say, out with the bad urine, in with the good.
With the good.
Which doesn't really make sense, but that was what we would say.
Well, that's what I said. You always ridicule. That makes no sense. Out with the bad Mountain Dew, in with the good.
Okay, well, that makes a little more sense. It's not quite as disgusting, but yeah, we definitely get that feeling.
Always pee first. I think, that'll be the next shirt they print up for Anthony.
Okay, now speaking of shirts, you do have some merch now. We don't have any tank tops or caps or anything.
We haven't expanded that far yet, but that's coming.
Okay.
That's coming.
Now, you've got some shirts that you're going to be bringing to Biloxi. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay.
Some of the shirts will just have our logo on it.
Okay.
Those are for the purists among us. And then there's another shirt that's going to have our logo. And above the logo, it's going to say, I won't win. And below the logo, it's going to say, but I might.
I won't win, but I might. One of the great You Can Bet on That phrases that Dr. Mike came up with in an episode. We said it'll be a t-shirt. Okay, good. So we're not selling them online yet. I need to update our webpage in a major way, and then we'll get it there. But we will bring some t-shirts to sell in Biloxi, correct, Dr. Mike?
That is correct.
You're in charge of this. So, okay, very good.
We'll bring some t-shirts, and if you want to purchase one in Biloxi, I'll have them with me in my room. I'll go up and get them for you.
Okay, and you're staying at IP, right?
I'm staying at IP.
Yeah.
And if you know ahead of time, then just, let Mark know, and I will put them aside for you.
Okay, terrific.
Because we have a limited supply right now.
Right.
But we're getting more. and they'll be available in different colors and stuff too. Right now, they're just, I think, black and gray.
We're dipping our toes in the water. I
Yeah,
should say you
right.
are, because you were
Yeah.
responsible for this. And finally, we're getting it done. Okay.
Yeah, I have to start slow because I'm
Yeah.
old. And
Yeah, exactly.
everything's a bit slower now.
Yeah, I understand.
Except when I get to the craps table, according to my wife.
Oh, yeah? Just
Yeah, she says all of a sudden my health is better. I
Yeah.
walk faster
Yeah.
as soon as I enter a casino. I said, well, then shouldn't I stay in the casino all the time
for your health.
for my health? That'll be the new one. You want to be healthy? Stick to the casino life.
T-shirt.
Yeah, T-shirt. Well, anyway, I'll have some there, and hopefully, we'll probably sell out. And Mark, you collect all the money because I'm not.
Oh,
you know
all
where
right.
mine. You know where mine will end up.
Yeah, I do know where yours is going to end up. All right. All right, let's hear the first of 3 different calls from 3 different Jasons.
Ah.
Hey, gentlemen, your conversation about the casino at the prom reminded me about the time that my company brought the casino in for the holiday party. We all got our play money, and because it was not my bonus or salary or anything like that, I ended up playing craps and putting money on some of the bets that I normally don't do. I'm pretty standard with just betting numbers and hoping that the point gets hit every once in a while. But I was on the horn, I was on the all tall small, and wouldn't you know that the tall hit and the all hit? Well, I was able to cash in my winnings for the raffle tickets, and I ended up winning 3 prizes. The smallest of the prize that I won was a lava lamp. I also won a $100 gift card to the local supermarket, and I won the big prize, which was a 72-inch flat screen television. Needless to say, a lot of my coworkers were a little upset that I had won all of the good prizes, so to speak. But you know what? They should have been betting on the all and the tall, and you can't win if you don't play. So that was my experience. I wonder for individuals out there, if your company or if you're at a situation where there's the charitable casino set up and it's not your real money, do you find that your playing and your strategy changes? Are you a little bit looser with your strategy and how aggressively you bet? What kind of changes to your play do you see when it's not really your money and it's not really money at all? Thanks.
All right. I'm going to start because my answer is boring. I play exactly the same. If it's play money, if it's an office party, I play exactly the same. How about you, Dr. Mike?
You play the same, Mark, because you don't want anybody to say, oh, he says play this way and then he does this. And you care about that image. I don't.
I'm just more interested. See, I love these games. So I'm going to play them the same way I play them when it's real money. So yeah, that's my personality. What about you, though, Dr. Mike?
Mark's the purist when it comes to that.
I guess that's the right word, purist. Thank you for using that nice word.
Some kind of ist.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, I've done both, to be honest. I have been to things like that where I play my regular way just because I'm curious. Sometimes I'll try a new, system. Like, I think I'm going to do this. Let's see how this works out. It always works out the same. Every once in a while, though, I do go a little wild and do something different. I think I went to one time where I was only making prop bets.
Right.
So,
yeah.
It's like
to try to hit some big ones.
$12, $100 2,
Yeah.
$100, whatever the limit was. They
right.
had limits.
Try to make a big hit so that you get the most raffle tickets. Sure.
Right. And, that still doesn't work. I'm never lucky on that stuff, Mark. Oh, and at the Twins game, they have the 50-50 thing.
Sure.
Well, it's actually 40. You get 40% of the jackpot. 40% goes to a charity, and the other 20% goes, I guess, to pay for the people who do all that.
Okay. All right.
But anyway, the 40% for the winner in the game we went to the other day was $7,300.
Okay.
I had bought $20 worth.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how many drawings that gave me. It was a big old long piece of tape. I didn't count it up.
Okay.
But I had a lot of numbers. Didn't win. But, that's pretty nice, right? Go to a baseball game and win $7,300.
Sure. It'd pay for the tickets and parking.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, and maybe probably have a little left over for a soda.
Yeah.
Not a adult beverage.
No, but one of their medium
more,
ones.
Yeah, a medium soda.
Yeah. Well,
anyway, I thought,
sorry, you didn't win, Mike.
$7,300? Of course I'm buying tickets.
All right. Next, Jason.
Gentlemen, Jason from Orange County. We've played together before at the Harris, Southern California. A couple things. First of all, you guys have handled your separation beautifully. Of course, it helps that you've got a podcast and a way to connect with each other on a regular basis. So it's beautiful. In regards to the attitude of the table, any listeners that have never met Mark or Dr. Mike before, you will be happy to know that their personas play themselves out the table. They're both innocuous to a lot of outside events, just very observant. Both of you guys play to personality expectations. Dr. Mike is loose, throwing his bets in the middle, whereas other players just wouldn't, like myself. And I think Mark falls in that same category. Mark is very calculated and, let's just say, careful. Careful is not a term you would give to any gambler who's going out and playing a negative game, but Mark is tight, let's say. Case in point, at the Harrah's, Southern California, they rolled the dice that pulls up cards. Mark had laminated cards for all the 7 combinations, depending on how the cards were dealt out in the 1 through 6 category, which I felt was very appropriate. 2 things from previous shows. Back a while, you guys were talking about how Double Deck should be a pitch game, and a lot of casinos, actually more than you would realize, go to the shoe. So I think the main reason could be, in my mind, that a lot of Double Deck games are providing countermeasures to card counters, and the one thing the shoe provides is concealment of how many cards are left. Of course, you can read the discard deck for that, but also the cut line that the casinos are trying to achieve is set upon the shoe. I think it's the main reason why they've gone to the shoe on these Double Deck games, so they can cut off the appropriate number of cards for their liking. The other comment I had was on the last show, the gentleman who had a reason. Don't talk about what's going on at the table. Don't talk about the game. And I found myself in this same predicament a few drinks in, hanging out with a friend of mine who I play craps regularly, he doesn't. And we were at a table in Laughlin, and he was cheering for the roller, right? Cheering for the number. And don't do that. You know, like I found myself doing that. And I come to the conclusion that that was poor etiquette, and I apologized for it later afterwards. But also that all of us craps players are very superstitious, and anything that seems to be, you did this, and so this happens. So anyways, I think human nature, and we should all get past it. And I think one of the best roles that I was ever at, I was shouting, "Superstition's out the window, I don't care what you say." And we had a great time. As long as you understand this many combinations, and this one will come out more than others. So anyways, appreciate you guys. That's it.
All right. Thanks, Jason. Yeah, I think we decided that really the reason you see some Double Deck games being dealt out of shoes is because it's easier. Or I should say they can find more dealers that can deal from a shoe than can deal by hand. The examples that you're giving, Jason, I don't know, because like you said, you can tell how far they are into the Double Deck by just looking at the discard file, even if you can't really see it in the shoe. And the cutoff, I mean, card counters care where a game in general is being cut off, you know, the penetration into the 2 decks. And they can see that after just watching a few times, seeing where the dealer cuts it. Once it's cut, though, counters don't really care how close they are to the cut card. They care about how far they are into the Double Deck, but they don't really care where that cut card is coming up. And I don't know of any way that a shoe can help the dealer and or casino get the cut card to exactly where the casino wants. So I'm not sure about those reasons. I think I'm just going to stick with it's easier to deal from a shoe.
I would say, why aren't you playing craps?
Finally, we got that reaction from you, Dr. Mike. I'm actually sitting here thinking, good, we're talking about blackjack for once. We're talking about something other than craps. I go through this whole thing, my big explanation, and your response is, why aren't you playing craps? Perfect. We have come to the end of You Can Bet on That.
Yes. Enough said. Good night. Well, I don't know what it is with blackjack. I used to really enjoy blackjack, but now I haven't. And I don't know if it's the people who play blackjack.
That's a lot of it.
It's just the whole rigmarole of it. I mean, honestly, Mark, if we walked into a casino and there's no craps, it's just like blackjack slots or something, I would probably be playing slots before I'd play blackjack.
Well, another thing too, Mike, is that there are so many more carnival games than when you and I started going to casinos, right? When you and I started, it was basically blackjack, roulette, and craps. Right. And baccarat.
Right.
So,
yeah. And the odd thing would be to play baccarat.
Right.
Every once in a while we play, oh, you're playing baccarat? Yeah. Now it's all these other games and you have a lot of choices. Yeah. So why would you play blackjack?
Anyway, for those who still enjoy playing blackjack, great, good. I'm glad that you do. It is a great game in a lot of ways. So don't let us saying, hey, why aren't you playing craps? Keep playing blackjack, please.
I think what I'll do in Biloxi, I'll just stand behind tables, whether it's blackjack or Ultimate Texas Hold'em, and just go to every table individually. Why are you guys playing this?
Hey,
why aren't you
you at third base. Why aren't you playing craps? Hey, pay attention to me.
Or just stand behind a table. Oh my God, he took a card. And just walk away.
I'm going to try to remember and have you do that to somebody. Oh my God, he took a card and walked away. So it was probably a good hit too, right? He had like a 7 against a 10 or something. Oh my God. All right. Final Jason.
Hey, gentlemen. Jason from Michigan. First and foremost, thanks so much for your show. Truly do enjoy it and look forward to it every other week when it comes out. Kind of a weird question as we get ready to head out to Las Vegas for our annual trip and we kind of bounce all over from downtown to the Strip. I often wonder, are certain casinos that we walk into that seem a little sketchy or not as nice as others less likely to pay out more or be able to pay out more if you have a big win? I often wonder when we're in some of these casinos downtown, probably not going to get paid here if I did hit a big jackpot because they probably don't have the money to pay it, which probably means they're less likely to pay out a bigger payoff, so to speak. So just didn't know if you had any information on that at all and looking forward to hearing your answers. Thanks and have a great day.
Hey, okay, so the short answer is no. You do not need to worry about a smaller casino not having enough money to pay you if you have a big win. Certainly the Nevada casinos are required to have more than enough money on hand and a cushion on top of that. And if for some reason there was some extreme run at a table game or something, they have to have at least cash available the next day. So for some very, very rare reason they were to run out of cash, which I've never really heard of happening in a Nevada casino, they would have assets elsewhere, in a bank account or something like that. Now, a couple of...
they can always write you a check.
That's true too, right? Yeah, they could write you a check.
I get it a lot. If I have a big win, I just say, can you write me a check?
Yes.
Sure.
Yeah.
And they write you a check. I'm sure that comes out of a separate bank account. It's not the cash in the back.
Right. Yeah, it's from their bank. Now, a couple of caveats here. Some of the big slot jackpots are not actually paid out by the casino. Megabucks is a good example. These are linked machines between casinos. So if you win Megabucks, like their big prize, you're getting paid by Megabucks. You're not getting paid by the casino. So some of the slots, especially the ones that pay out millions of dollars, don't worry, that's not coming from the casino anyway. One more thing, if you're playing in a non-casino, let's say you're playing video poker at some convenience store and you hit a royal flush. Okay, they may not have the cash on hand right there to pay you. We've heard stories of, oh, hang on a second, I'm calling the owner. He'll be here with your money in a half hour, things like that. So that's different. But no, if you're talking about casinos, even some of the so-called lesser casinos, don't worry, you're going to get paid.
Yeah, I've never really worried about that. But if you are walking into a, let's say, smaller, lesser-known casino in the Vegas area, and you see a small little plaque in the corner of a window kind of around the corner, and looks like, maybe it's been peed on or something a few times, and it says slot payout 28%. Yeah, maybe don't play there.
Yeah. Oh, so you're saying that's what the payback is, 28%?
Yeah, payback 28%. Yeah, maybe don't play there.
Maybe don't play there, and call gaming too. That would be the second thing that you do.
Did you see on Young Sheldon this week where her casino got robbed?
I heard about it, but I did not see it. No.
Yeah, pretty funny. When the grandson looked at the video and said, it's a guy in a cowboy hat. And she said, we're in Texas.
All right, next call.
Hey, mathematician Mark and Dr. Mike. Wanted to give you a call back. This is Ryan from Chicago, and want to talk to you about a couple things. One, we went to the NFL draft in Kansas City. Want to tell you about how great that was, since you guys did bring it up in your segment on your show a couple weeks ago. We hit about 5 casinos, and they are really nice there. So highly recommend Kansas City and right over the border into Kansas as a destination for gambling. The Argosy, which looks like a castle, which is really cool. The Hollywood is gigantic right over the border, and lots of sports betting too there, which is cool because Missouri doesn't allow it. Harrah's is pretty nice. The only thing, we did run into one thing at Hollywood. We were playing Ultimate Texas Hold'em. I looked at my son, he was kind of looked bewildered, and he just gave me like a shrug after a hand, and then like 3 hands later, somebody from security came out and said that he owed them $50 because he was paid on a hand mistakenly. So it ended up he had 6s and the dealer at 7s is what the security guy said. He wasn't real sure, but he didn't even have $50 left in chips, so he had to reach back into his wallet. I don't know, I just thought that was kind of poorly played by the casino. Finally, for the draft to recap, the Eagles, Seahawks, and the Colts were dominating in the draft. They really set themselves up. And then last thing is, Mark, if you ever get some time, let me know about that game I sent you. You're going to take a look at for me, Casino Baseball. Just really want to know what you think about it and the odds, and I really want to send you the other 2, including the dice game. I think you guys might both really enjoy. All right, but I hope you have a great day. Oh, and thanks for putting my 2 calls together last time. Made me sound like one gigantic run-on sentence. So, all right, I'll talk to you guys later. Great show.
Thanks. Yeah, sometimes when people call in twice, I try to combine the calls if I can think of a logical way to do that. And I did in Ryan's case. Yeah, sorry it took me so long to get back to you, Ryan. He sent me a potential casino game that he created called Casino Baseball. I'll have to show it to you, Mike. It's actually pretty clever. And it uses like kind of a baseball diamond on there, and it's played with cards. I think it's a really great idea. The math, he wanted me to look at it from a math standpoint as well, and I don't know. It might take me a little too long to get through. But this looks like something that could really catch on. I love the fact that there's a baseball diamond on the felt, and you have multiple players in the game. Anyway, I'll show it to you.
Well, don't give too much away because...
Oh, no, that's all it is. Because, well, it's called Casino Baseball. So, but anyway, yeah, I thought it was pretty clever.
Yeah, great. Well, hey, go for it, Ryan. That'd be great. I'd love to see a game. Say, yeah, we know that guy that invented that.
It's very hard to get new games, on the casino floor. But yeah, I think it would be a good addition.
Although, if and when we own a casino, I would always be up for new games, if they made sense mathematically.
Right, yeah, you'd have to double check, but yes.
Yeah, but as long as that made sense mathematically, because, there's nothing better than something new.
Right.
When you go in somewhere and something, well, I haven't done this before. I haven't eaten this before. I haven't seen that before. That's what life's all about. So for me, we walk into a casino, there's a new game. Of course you want to play it.
Yeah.
Now, whether you stick with it or not, that's what makes a winner and a loser, right?
Right.
So, yeah, I'd like that.
Now, Ryan, we don't know, the legal requirements that a casino has, certainly in Kansas City, as far as getting payments on mispaid hands corrected, etc. Mike and I have always felt that if the casino makes a mistake, even if the eye in the sky catches it, as long as it's not like, $100,000, it's just a $50 bet here, maybe let the player know that it happened, but don't require them to give their chips back, right?
Exactly.
And we've heard of cases like this happening before, but this is the first time we've heard of where the player doesn't have enough chips to repay the casino. Actually had to go into his wallet. This is terrible. I don't know the legalities behind it, but I hated this story.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
What they should do, and what every casino should be required to do by law, is say, we noticed we paid you and you weren't supposed to win. Just so you know, sorry about that. And if the person says, hey, well, here's the $50, sorry.
Sure.
Then that's fine. But if the person says, oh, okay, thanks, then they don't strong arm you to get their $50. That was their mistake.
Yeah, I agree.
Right.
Yeah.
And, sometimes I've had it where they say, oh, I paid you 10 too much. And I give them the $10 back in craps or something. Or, oh, she gave you a green chip and it was supposed to be a red or whatever. Yeah. And then I just give it back to them. That's my own choice. But they don't really ask for it back. They just tell me that they screwed up.
Yep. Yeah.
And a lot of times the pit will just, don't worry about it.
Right.
They're not going to sweat a few $10 or something.
Yeah.
To go in his pocket and have to pull out more money.
Yeah.
Well, what if you didn't have it?
Right. Did they bill you?
They
take your address, send you bill.
You'll be getting a tax form from us. We want that money. No, they probably just take you in the back, Mark, beat you really bad, and then Bones has to figure out who you are.
Yeah, that's right. That was $50 worth. Send them to Bones. Now, are you talking about Bones from the TV show Bones or Bones, the doctor on the Enterprise?
Ooh, either or.
Either or. Okay.
It works either way.
All right.
I have his signature,
Yeah, Bones.
Bones.
All right. Let's move on. Next up is Brandon.
Hey, Mark and Dr. Mike. Brandon out here in Salt Lake City. About a year ago, we relocated from Denver to Salt Lake. And Dr. Mike, you challenged me to get over to Wendover and get my gambling on. Well, last week, I finally made it over there. I had to place my Kentucky Derby bets, and let's not even talk about the Derby. It was a bloodbath. But I found my way to the Peppermill Casino in Wendover. They don't have a sports book. They have a sports betting kiosk, but you can do everything that you would do, including current day odds as well as futures bets. So I was able to place all the Derby bets there. They also had $5 craps. So, of course, I had to go play craps. One thing that was interesting at the table, they have a sign very clearly saying no dice setting. So I'm not much of a dice setter myself, but I did ask the stick woman what that meant. And she said, when we pass you the dice, you're allowed to turn one die, one face. She said something, to the effect of the boys upstairs don't like it when people dice bet. So, it's the first time I've ever seen that. I know casinos don't really like dice setting, but I thought that was really interesting. So I also checked out Montego Bay when I was there. It's very nice on the inside. Wendover, for those of us in Salt Lake, it's a 2-hour drive along I-80. So it's a good chance for a day trip or an overnight. I definitely think I'll find my way back there in the future. So anyway, that's all I got for you. Thanks again for everything. And Dr. Mike, if I find my way up to visit my parents, I'll make the trek down I-35 and we can play a Diamond Joe together. All right. Take care.
All right. Very good, Brandon.
All right. Great. Well, Brandon, I hope you do that because I'll meet you there for sure.
Oh, very good. We've never seen an actual sign that says no dice setting. I'd like to know what the real reason was for that sign getting put up there. Now, the box said, the eye in the sky doesn't like it. A reasonable casino doesn't like dice setting because it can slow down the game. And
well, that's the real reason.
That's really the only reason that I can think of that's legitimate. But even casinos can kind of be suspicious or think something's going on or think that there are dice controllers, dice influencers, that kind of thing. So in this case, I would really like to know what prompted it. Who came down from high and said, okay, we need a sign here? Yeah.
Let's put up a sign for everything. Keep your pants on while you're playing dice.
Yeah, that's a good Brandon was talking about the sports betting kiosks. Another nice thing about those, too, that was certainly the case at Diamond Joe Worth. Sometimes if you go to a window, there's a minimum on the bets that you can make. And I was making some $5 bets. I went up to the window and she said, oh, no, you have to go to the kiosk for lower bets. So that is another kind of nice thing of those kiosks. You can bet less than you normally would have to at a window.
Yeah, it's like sending you to a shoot to win craps table or a
kind of like that, yeah.
Yours kind has to go over there.
Mike, did you watch the Derby?
Yes, okay. Mark, I did.
Yeah.
And let me tell you something.
Okay.
What a dismal point for horse racing in general.
Oh, because of the deaths that day, you mean?
Yeah. Wouldn't you say that in the United States, the Kentucky Derby is kind of thought as the premier horse racing event.
Oh, well, without a doubt.
I mean, maybe the Breeders' Cup now, but
no, it's the Derby.
In general, over the years, it's always been the Derby.
Yeah. From the public's point of view, certainly, yes.
Right, exactly. And so you turn it on national TV, and the first thing they're talking about is how many horses have died, and the favorite is canceled because this happened and that happened, and the trainer really thought he could run, but the doctor said no.
Yeah.
You hear this kind of stuff, and you're thinking, this is terrible.
Yeah.
And horse racing's kind of been under assault for a few years, right?
Right.
And now with this,
it's another black eye for the industry, certainly.
Usually I'm very excited, and it just didn't have that magic for me. I just kind of sat there, and as soon as it ended, I turned the channel.
Yeah.
A lot of times I'll sit there and watch, the jockey get interviewed and all the presentation of flowers. No, I just turned the channel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, too bad. And we've talked about horse racing before, so I don't think we need to go any further about that. So instead, let's move on to Josh from Crap Vegas.
Hi, Mark and Dr. Mike. This is Josh. And I just wanted to tell you a little story. I stole some lines from Dr. Mike. I was playing last week at Aria, and the table was going pretty well, playing craps. And I had a $5 hard eight, and the hard eight hit, and I did my usual. I took it up to $25, and then also did a nickel piggyback for the dealers. We made the point on the 8, so we're off on the, they asked, are you working or off on the come out? And I said I was off. But let's hop the hard 8 for a nickel. That's just smart gambling. And the boxman just thought the smart gambling line was the funniest thing in the world. On the come out roll, we hit the hopping hard 8, which made the line even funnier. That's just smart gambling because, of course, it worked. And I don't know about you guys, but I was using it all day, the rest of that day, and everybody just thought the smart gambling was a great line, which I stole from Dr. Mike. So I had to share that story with you. Again, thanks for the support of our show, and have a great time in Biloxi. Wish we could join you, and talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
All right. Thanks, Josh. Yeah, that is a great line. That's just smart gambling.
Especially when it hits.
Yeah,
everyone's
that's
thinking, wow, what does that guy know that we don't know?
That's great. Hey, so now Josh's call, that was actually 2 calls that I combined. You probably couldn't tell. I don't know. Listeners, go back and listen to it again. Maybe you can tell how I combined the 2 calls.
That was 2 calls?
That was 2 calls combined into one. Huh?
Congrats. I couldn't tell. I really couldn't tell.
Yeah. Okay. So there you go. Meanwhile, Ryan, who was kind of joking about how I combined his last 2 calls, we're going to hear from him right now again. I didn't combine the 2 calls this time. Here we go.
How many calls have you combined? What's the most number of calls you've combined?
Oh, I think 3. Yeah.
Oh, geez.
Yeah.
But I wish you hadn't have told me that. Now I'm going to every show, I'm going to be wondering, was that like 12 calls?
Yeah. I want you to wonder. I want you to try to catch it. Sometimes it'll be obvious because like somebody will be calling from a car and then their second call, they're not in a car. You just hear the background noise change real violently, but yeah. All right.
All right. I'm going to call you from every room in the house thing and see if you can combine them all. The toilet flushing, the dishwasher running, the alarm clock going off.
All right. Here's Ryan again.
Hi, guys. I didn't want to call you back again. I didn't want to run the risk of just sounding like a run-on sentence, but this is Ryan from Chicago. I just had to tell you this story, and then it made me think of a second thing. From the trip we had to the NFL draft in Kansas City, first of all, at Harrah's, there's this dealer who I just want to shout out. Her name is Sandra. So she was setting up the Ultimate Texas Hold'em table as we're coming up, and she's so excited we're playing, and takes her money and gets us the chips, and by the time she does all that, I think she deals maybe 2 hands, and then she gets sent on break. But before she goes on break, she's like, I'm going to get you guys some drinks. What do you want? She takes her drink orders, and we're like, no, it's fine. But she wasn't having it, and she went and got us drinks, came back, and the other dealer's laughing. She does this all the time. So just want to send out a shout out to Sandra. We got destroyed at Harrah's, but still, she was pretty awesome. But then the story I really want to tell you. So yeah, all last college football season, I was in love with this wide receiver from TCU. So I was telling my son and my friends, I'm like, oh, he's a top 10, top 15 pick for sure. So the odds came out, and his over-under to be drafted was 26.5. Anyway, comes through, first 19 picks, no wide receivers taken. Your Chargers, and Mike, this is mostly for you because I know you're the big fan. Mark doesn't always like when you talk about this. Your Chargers end up taking him at 21, I believe. He's going to be a great player. Thanks a lot, guys.
All right. So, Ryan, now if you're listening to that call, you're probably thinking, wait, what happened? Yeah, I had to edit that call down. There were some audio issues there, so I had to edit it so that your story still kind of made sense there. So, unfortunately, some stuff got left out there. But there you go, Mike. Quentin Johnston going to the Chargers.
Yes. And you know what? That pick kind of got poo-pooed by a lot of people.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think ESPN gave it a C minus.
Oh, okay. All right.
Like as a pick, something like that. And I was like, oh gosh. And I kind of looked him up and I thought, well, this isn't a bad player. Why'd you get a C minus? So I don't know what that was all about, but I am really feeling good now that Ryan called and said he's going to be a great player.
Okay. For the Chargers.
I mean, for the Chargers.
Yeah.
I'm feeling good about our season coming up.
Our season, you say?
Yeah, our season. Yeah, they've enlisted me.
Mm-hmm.
So if they get down to like absolutely no players left, they'll call me and I'll show up.
All right.
Yeah, I've still got some eligibility.
Yeah, eligibility.
In the NFL.
That's a good word.
In college, that's over.
Yeah. Let's hear from our buddy Big Lair.
Hi, Mark. Dr. Mike. This is Big Lair from Rochester, Minnesota, just down the road from where Dr. Mike lives. Just wanted to call and report a very profitable Vegas trip last week. My buddy Mike played video Keno at the Golden Gate Bar, hit 3 hand pays during the week we were there. Our mutual friend Dave from San Diego hit a $2,000 hand pay playing video poker. And the biggest thrill of the week was I was playing at the Prohibition Bars at Golden Gate one morning, and I hit a $5,884 Progressive Royal.
Nice!
Wow. Still get goosebumps thinking about it. I guess that's all I got to report. I'll see both of you guys in Biloxi in a few days. Thanks again for a great podcast. See you then.
All right, great. Looking forward to seeing you, Big Lair. Congratulations on that nice win.
Yeah, bring some of that luck for me to Biloxi. He said down the road. It's actually up the road from here.
Oh, okay. Well, anyway, you need some of his luck is what you're saying.
I need some of Lair's luck.
Okay.
Yeah, super happy for him.
Yeah.
Why doesn't that happen to us, Mark?
We've had our share of big wins in the past, Dr. Mike. It's not happening at the video poker terminals, because we don't play it that often. But we don't complain. And just
all right. I'm not complaining. I'm just getting myself psyched up so I don't have to pee right before I get there.
Yeah. All right. You were mentioning Chris and Kevin. Chris got you the tickets to the Twins game. Let's hear from Kevin.
Hey, Mark. Hey, Dr. Mike. It is Kevin from Minneapolis, Minnesota. I have been listening for years, and I know I've emailed Mark a few times, but I don't know that I've ever called before, so I might be a long-time listener, first-time caller. Calling to give a little recap. We went down to Diamond Joe Worth this past Saturday, May 6th, and it was a really good night. We started at the craps table, and a friend of mine had never played craps before, and thanks to you guys, I started playing craps a little bit, and so I showed him the ropes at the table. We didn't have any monster rolls, but we did have a really good number of good rolls and only a few 0.7s, so that worked out real well. Lots of 6s and 8s were hitting, and I'm a pretty low roller. I'm playing the table minimum pass line, which is $10 single odds, and then I had $12 on the 6 and 8, so every time those 6s and 8s were hitting, that was really good. Also had a buck each on the all, tall, and small, and we hit half of it 4 different times, and 3 of those 4 times we were just one number away from the all, but couldn't quite hit it, but still a decent showing on the bonus. I bought in for $200 at the table and cashed that with $600 for a $400 profit, which for me, a craps slow roller, that was pretty good. Went over to the video poker and I played some 25-cent super aces, which is a game where any 4 aces pays 2,000 coins or $500, and you don't need a kicker at all for that. And I played for a while and I couldn't hit anything. And then finally I was dealt a quad, and it was a really good one to be dealt because it was quad aces for $500. That was awesome. Went back to the craps table and made another $150 again on a number of good rolls. Nothing monstrous, but nothing bad either. So It was a really good night, and then not to be outdone, my husband Chris hit for over $800 on a slot machine with an 88-cent bet on Dancing Drums. Got the picking bonus and picked the major one for over $800. So it was really a great night overall. Sadly, Dr. Mike wasn't there. He mentioned on the last podcast that he was going to be helping at his daughter's high school prom. And, I got to say, that's wonderful. That's a once-in-a-lifetime experience and one that he and his daughter are really going to remember forever. And I also got to say, why on earth were you there when there was gambling to be done? I mean, come on, Mike. It was a Saturday night and there was craps to be played. Mark, back me up on this, please. Thanks for all you guys do, and we'll talk to you later. Bye.
Yeah, Kevin, I've got to agree with you. What's going on, Mike?
I know. Chris told me all about their good luck at the game. And he's like, where were you? I'm like, And he's telling me all the craps was good. And then he hit that right before they went to bed.
Oh, okay.
Right before the night ended and they were going to go up to bed.
Right.
And he hits a big slot win. So I was so happy they had a good time. And I was thinking, yeah, that's where I should have been. Gosh darn it.
How'd it go with your casino night for the prom attendees?
Everything went good. All the kids had a good time.
All right, good.
My daughter won they had raffle tickets, right?
Yeah.
So she ended up winning this basket of hair and makeup stuff, like a $250 value.
Oh,
or something.
Nice.
So yeah, she was very happy about that. And her best friend here in Caledonia won a 54-inch TV.
Oh, very good.
And her boyfriend, who's also in their class, he got a $500 cash.
Oh, wow. Oh, nice.
Yeah. So next year, there is no way I am going to the prom as a worker. I'm just going to the prom.
I see. Because you want to be able to actually play at the casino night.
Yeah, I get to play, and I might win a $500. I'm going to do like our earlier caller suggested, and try and win as much as I can at the.
Boy,
blackjack.
you're eventually going to get kicked out of that town, Mike, with everything going on. It's just a matter of time.
We all know that, Mark. It's just a matter of time. Fortunately, there's a lot of little other towns near here that I can migrate to.
This is good. Well, we also got a call from listener Raji. He followed up with an email, though, asking us not to use the voicemails. He didn't like the way they turned out. And plus, they both hit the 3-minute mark. And anyway, he sent us an email instead detailing a lot of the story. The main part of the story was he was able to, I believe it was at Circa, take a hard six from $5 to $50 to $500 to $1,000. He said that when it hit at $50, he thought he was going to maybe I'll just press it to $250. And then he thought, I'm going to be winning money my whole life. I need to make a memory here. So
I like the way you put that. I need to make a memory.
Yeah. So he pressed it to $500. It hit. That pays $5,000. He took it to $1,000, which did not hit. But let me read from his email here. Here's the kicker. When I gave you a $22 karma donation in preparation for this trip, I said I was doing it for 2 reasons. The first was to get a royal flush on either Ultimate Texas Hold'em or Video Poker. And I'll let you know that I'm still a card-carrying member of the Mark and Dr. Mike No Royal Flush Club. But the second was that I was hoping to finally take my hard 6 or 8 from $1 to $10 to $100 to $1,000. But because of the 22 motif, I bumped my hard ways to $5 each. And wouldn't you know, the karma wish came true. So yeah, he started with $5 instead of $1 and was able to kind of press it up more quickly and not have to just parlay it the whole time. He was actually able to collect when it hit 5,000. So it was actually probably a better story than if he had gone, 1, 10, 100, 1,000. So congratulations,
when
Raji.
He was going to 110 and then to 100, he was basically leaving it all out.
Yeah, right. He wasn't collecting anything. And at least at what really happened, he was leaving it all out there till the $500 bet hit. And, collected the $5,000, then only put another $500 on it when it didn't hit. So,
so he's got $4,500 profit.
Yeah.
So, that's awesome. I read that story and I was just smiling from ear to ear thinking, oh, God, make a memory. Make something. Go back home and say, what happened? That's so much fun.
Yeah, exactly. All right. That's going to do it for this episode. We want to thank some people for some recurring donations. Jeremy at the Color Up YouTube channel. Kurt. Robin from NE Time Gambling. Nathan
And Brian and Sarah, thank you very much for those recurring donations. We also got a donation from Chris going on the solo trip that we talked about earlier. Also a donation from Brian. Karma recently started playing craps, and your podcast has been a tremendous help along the way. Have played at all the casinos in Massachusetts, Connecticut, and Rhode Island so far. Hoping for a Vegas trip later this year and maybe crossing paths with you guys one of these days. Well, thank you very much, Brian. And finally, we got a donation from Bob. He did not include any message, but thank you very much, Bob. Hey, be sure to check out our TV listings showing all the gambling-related shows coming up within the next 2 weeks at youcanbetonthat.com/TV-listings and our list of gambling-related movies at youcanbetonthat.com/movies. We'd love to hear from you. Call our voicemail hotline at 951-292-4377. That's 9512-WAGERS.
9512-WAGERS.
Or you can email us at youcanbetonThat@gmail.com. You can also follow us on Twitter at youcanbetonThat and on Facebook at facebook.com/youcanbetonThat. Finally, please go to your favorite podcast app and write a review of the show. We love getting your feedback. Dr. Mike, I'm losing my voice, but let's talk about going to Biloxi here in just a few days.
Very excited about that. Very excited, Mark.
We're going to be arriving, Sherry and I, and your flight is like a half hour after us. We're going to go get a rental car, and then the three of us are going to drive to Biloxi from then. We're getting in on Wednesday night. We probably won't get to the hotels till like 7, 8 o'clock, something like that.
Right,
But,
it'll be a little later.
Yeah, you're staying at IP. We're staying at Beau Rivage. Just very excited about it.
Yes, very excited. And I'm excited it's going to be a few days.
Yes.
Because, recently all of my trips have been, one day.
Right.
Go and come home. Or if I stay overnight, it's just overnight, leave the next morning.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be nice to be there for a while. And it's also very nice to see everybody.
Yep, exactly. And again, if we can't remember your name, you're actually much better at remembering people's names, Dr. Mike. So I kind of lean on you a little bit.
Faces and names. Yeah.
I'm rough with that. So if, I've met you a dozen times and I look at you blankly, I apologize up front. Maybe just when you come up, hey, Mark and Dr. Mike, remember me? It's Tim Lawson. That would really help.
Yeah. You remember me? No, don't think I do. Who are you?
That's right. Please give me a little room here. I'm shooting.
Yeah. And you're playing from the don't. So move on, buddy.
But in all seriousness, please come up. And if we haven't met you before, certainly introduce yourselves. We're very approachable and we love meeting new people and playing with you at the table. So
I got a couple things to add here, Mark.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to start with the negative. What the hell's wrong with the Padres?
Yeah, I don't understand. They actually have a losing record as of right now. Yeah.
Right. And they're losing right now tonight as we're recording.
All right, move along. I don't want to talk about this too long.
You know what gets me? I just have to say this. It's typical Padres. Have one really good year, don't quite get all the way, but get pretty good, and everyone's all hyped up. Get a couple new players and then lay an egg.
They've still got a good team. The season isn't even halfway over yet. Move on, Dr.
Oh,
Mike.
it's not even close.
No, move on.
The second thing I wanted to say is that, perspective is very important. Raji was a perfect example. Mm-hmm. He didn't care about his $5 bet. And if he got it all the way up there and it lost and he just didn't hit the big one, he wanted to make a memory.
Yeah.
And, from his perspective, that's what he wanted. That's great. Other people would look at it and say, oh, you're crazy. You won the $500, 5,000. Why didn't you just leave it there at 5? And if it hit again, but no, he wanted something, I would have loved him to hit the 1,000.
Sure.
and see what he would have done if, I don't know what the table limit was, but if he could have gone higher or whatever. Anyway, so I'm reminded by his story about putting things in perspective.
Right.
And I don't know if I've ever told you this story, Mark. When I was first a dentist, well, I had worked for people for 4 or 5 years, and then I got my own office. So it was just a few days into my own office, and this young man came in. He was maybe 7, 8 years old, and he needed some work done. And so I was giving him the injection, and he looked up at me and he says, "You are so much better than Dr. Allen," who was my predecessor.
Uh-huh.
And immediately in my mind, I was so happy. I'm thinking, oh, yeah, I'm young and I'm good. And oh, I'm the greatest, right? And then he hesitated. And while I'm thinking that, he says to me, your nose hair doesn't stick out of your nose like his.
So it had nothing to do with the shot.
Had nothing to do with the shot. I'm perceiving that he's saying, you know, what a great dentist I am, because that's the way I was feeling. And he's thinking, thank God he doesn't have all that nose hair hanging out of his nose.
I will say this, Dr. Mike, and listeners also, and everybody in my family agrees. When you would give us Novocaine shots, it was the most comfortable, if that's the right word when you're getting a shot, Novocaine shots we've ever gotten. You were the best dentist when it came to giving those shots. It had the least amount of pain. We miss that.
Thanks. I appreciate that. But I've thought of that ever since then. That was 38 years ago or something. All he was concerned about was my nose hair.
That's great.
And so when you put things in perspective, that's why I don't judge the way other people play and stuff. I mean, I might have my opinion on, you know, well, I wouldn't play that way because, but, you know, like I tease Tim Lawson about playing the don't. But whatever makes you happy.
As long as you can afford it. I love the philosophy. Let's make a memory. Make sure you can afford it first and then go and make that memory. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, obviously, Rajin felt that way.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I'd rather make a memory than not take a risk.
Yeah.
He was willing to take a risk, and that's great.
Yeah. All right. Again, those going to Biloxi, we'll see you soon. Thanks for listening.
Yes. Thank you.
Mark, that was wonderful. I had no idea you were so talented. The audience is going to love you.